I created my boyfriend in The Sims years before I met him. Posted by u/Vanessa Ryder. When I was a teenager, living in Vienna in the small country Austria, I excessively played The Sims. I created all kinds of families there with all kinds of crazy stories. Most of them were unrelated to anyone I knew, just straight out of my imagination. As the game got developed to the Sims 4 version, the details got very much on point when it came to creating your Sims. I was always very hesitant to create myself or anyone I knew because I would feel bad of anyone dying in the game as they would portray my real-life people. I also didn't want to put anything out there, if you know what I mean, like attract anything bad. With The Sims 4 though, I decided to create myself, with a different last name though, matching my Sims husband's last name. The husband was of color as my celeb crush was 50 Cent. I was 17 by the way, was wearing a black tank top, camouflage pants, trainers and a black watch. They lived a happy life together, had kids and I made sure that they died peacefully as I did believe in attracting situation. Met my boyfriend 2 years ago, after I moved to London. We are in a very happy relationship. One day we were at a market and it was really hot so I bought a dress so I can change into something more light and my boyfriend bought some pants in thin material. He asked if I liked them and I turned and it was some camouflage sweatpants. I said yes and we proceeded to go home. We lived a minute away, to change. We changed our clothes and my boyfriend asked me if he looked good. I finished dressing up and looked at him to check his clothes and he was wearing a black tank top, the camouflaged sweatpants, trainers and a black watch I had just bought him as a present some weeks ago. I immediately realized he looked like my husband in the Sims I created years ago. I started laughing and told him you look like my Sim. He looked at me confused and as I told him what I meant he told me oh so you attracted me into your life with a cheeky smile and I guess he was right. That was my most glitch moment I have ever had but I don't regret it all smile. Edit. Some extra info I forgot to mention. I also remember I created the husband, and many other husbands for my Sims, with the traits of an artist as I wanted to have nice pictures in the house of my Sims. My boyfriend is an artist himself and we have loads of pictures up he drew. If this is the Matrix, they really pay attention to detail. The universe is listening. Posted by u/bitchwaronly. I was watching a Reddit video on YouTube today about glitches in the Matrix when I came across the story of a user that said their teacher had once told them that if you ask the universe for something it will give it to you. This caught my attention because I had been looking for a very important set of papers for days and I just couldn't find them anywhere. I even hurt myself moving my couch in case they had fallen under it, but there was nothing. So, I stopped the video and watched my phone to see that it was around 3:50 p.m., 10 minutes before my study group had a session. I wasn't even going to join them because I didn't have the papers to study from, so I thought might as well give it a try and ask the universe to guide me to the papers if it was my destiny to pass my college admission exam. I start walking around my room, and for some reason I open my closet, knowing that there's no way the papers could be there because I only keep clothes and nothing else in there. But then I look under a box of shoes and there was a freaking plastic bag with all my papers. Turns out my grandma had put them there weeks ago without telling me. In the end I got kind of spooked about it but I was able to join my study group, so I'm kinda excited about it, especially because I really want to get into that university and I took it as a signal that everything will be okay. If you've lost something try it. Edited for typos. Edit 2. Hey guys, I've tried searching the video I mentioned to post the link in here. But because I watched it on my TV and I don't have my YouTube account added to it, I don't have a search history there. I'll try to find it, and if I ever do I'll post the link here. I was still talking to my friend on the phone when she texted me the line dropped, "Call me back ASAP." Posted by u/searchlight01. So this event happened on October 7, 2019 at 5:46 p.m. and I'll briefly try to describe it. I was on my way to running some errands, riding in my car while on the phone with this friend. I remember the weather being super weird, cloudy but hot. I don't really know how to describe it but it felt like the air had some kind of heaviness to it. While I was talking to her she said a few sentences to which I replied in agreement. Suddenly she starts saying the same exact sentences she just said 30 seconds earlier, only in a different tone and pace. It really sounded like she was repeating herself and not like the actual voice glitched and repeated, which is what made it even creepier. So at this point everything became fuzzy and weird, almost as if I lost sense of time. In the meantime I heard my messages ringtone going off a few times through the earpiece but I decided to check them out later on. So I go on and tell her I'm pretty sure that she already said to me all of those things, and the most unsettling thing is that her voice would stop whenever I tried telling her, as if she was actually listening, but would continue on as soon as I'd go silent, without saying anything regarding the fact she was repeating herself over and over. It was like talking to someone who was purposely trying not to answer. It felt incredibly odd, especially considering each sentence was slightly different than the previous one but the meaning kept on being the same. That's when I lost her completely. The line gets cut off and I go check the messages I received earlier. Turns out they were actually from her. 2 of them were missed calls and the last one said I should call her back as soon as I could. I was still actively talking to her while at the same time she was asking me to call her back. Definitely one of the most bizarre things that's ever happened to me. My cat glitched. This just happened, and my heart is still beating like crazy. I was chilling on the couch, scrolling through Instagram, when I heard my cat jumping down from his bed. He usually wants to go outside after sleeping, so I looked at him and said, "You want to go outside, buddy?" With my annoying cat voice. He just looked at me, not answering, like a normal cat. I was ready to go let him out, but looked back at my phone for just a second. That's when it hit me. I let him outside a few hours ago. I turned my head to look back at him in confusion, but he wasn't there. I went to the front door, and yep, he was outside and came running when I opened the door. I have no idea what just happened. I saw the penny drop from the ceiling posted by u/midis, so I'm going to make this quick. I was in my grandparents' kitchen a few years ago with my aunt as a witness, and out of nowhere a penny fell right in front of us. The penny made an impact and fell on heads. It also fell away from the fridge and dead center relatively close to us at the table. My grandma, who was washing dishes, stopped and turned around and asked what was that. We first thought someone lost a coin, but no one had coins on them. And none of us carried money like that anyway. My grandma then said it's a message from someone in heaven. I don't remember who she said exactly, but to this day I still think about it. To add to that, me and my aunt both saw it fall from the ceiling. So we knew we weren't insane. My mom's best friend, posted by u/anon9. As long as I can remember, my mom has always had the same best friend. I'm going to call her Mary, but I changed her name. Previously she told me that they met in hair school and they have been friends ever since. Now I had just moved back in with my parents because of the pandemic. I was living in another town for the past couple of years. As soon as I came back, my mom kept talking about someone named Susan. I also changed this name. My mom talked to me about Susan as if I knew who she was, but I had no idea who she was. She also talked about Susan's daughter. When I told my mom I didn't know who she was talking about, I think she thought I was joking. She told me I went to school with Susan's daughter. Susan also has now been stopping by her house several times a week, and I have never seen this woman before in my life. Recently, I asked my mom about Mary. I hadn't seen or heard anything about her all summer that I had been home. I didn't know if they had a falling out or something. Side note, I've never known my mom to switch friend groups before, and all of her other friends that I am aware of have stayed the same. Anyway, at first when I said Mary's name, she didn't know who I was talking about. I explained to her that her and Mary were best friends and met in hair school. She then remembered Mary but said she hadn't seen her in years. And apparently Susan also went to hair school, and that's how her and my mom met. I honestly felt like I was going crazy until my sister asked me when our mom became friends with Susan. She doesn't remember her either. So I asked my best friend, who I've known since grade school, if he remembers Susan, and he doesn't, but he remembers Mary. I also decided to see if Susan's daughter was in my yearbook because I have no memory of her and she's not in it. So I'd come so confused. Sorry if this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense to me either.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.